What up, y'all? I just had a moment of inspiration today, and I decided that I would record this video because I feel like I have a lot to say in this topic, and I think it's going to be helpful. It'll be helpful for me to talk about it for myself, selfishly, but I also think equally it could be helpful for you as well. I'm going to dig into my past a little bit. I'm going to get a little personal. I was not, and I guess let's just get into it. I was a really bad kid. I was not a good kid at all. I was in the principal's office more than I was in the classroom. I caused a lot of trouble. I failed a ton of classes. I was asked to repeat the eighth grade. And I was always known as the troublemaker. Kids always labeled me as stupid, as the fuck up, as the most likely to be in jail. If there was a superlative that said most likely to be in jail, it was probably me. I was probably the individual that would have won that superlative if there was a superlative that had that. I was a big troublemaker, and the reason I was a big troublemaker is I did it all to feel seen. Maybe I didn't get a lot of validation as a kid or something. I don't know. We'll have to ask a therapist that one. But I did a lot of things, and in hindsight 2020, I probably did them to be seen. And we'll get deeper into that later on because I do think that the value from this video is going to be from now being 28 and really having hindsight 2020, the reasons why I did these things. And that will be the value, and we'll go over that at the end of the video. But yeah, I did a lot of really awful things and hurt a lot of people uh, just to feel seen. So let's get into some of those stories. This will be the hard part. This will be the vulnerable part, sharing some of this stuff. Um, Let's do it. I'll start off with an easy one. All right. So the first story I wanted to share was the first time I blacked out. So I was 16 years old. I probably had my first sip of alcohol at 15, but the first time I really blacked out was when I was 16. And I used alcohol a lot to get attention. I'll share another story after this one, but this is kind of just, this story is the lubricant to some of the crazy shit that I did as a kid. But yeah, the one time we were hanging out with a bunch of friends. We had a vodka handle. We had a couple vodka handles, and of course, me once again, always being outlandish, wanting to feel seen, grabbed the vodka bottle, and I was the first one to just take as many swigs as I can. And friends counting down, how long could Chad do it? And before I know, I look down at the floor. Everything, it's like a vertigo. I can't even walk. My friends had to carry me to my friend's car. My friend Brian's car proceeded to throw up all in his car. They drove me to McDonald's because they knew, sorry if the dogs are barking in the background. They drove me to McDonald's because they knew that they needed to get some food in my system. I couldn't, let me put this on pause. Hold on one sec. They took me to, sorry about the dogs. They took me to McDonald's and I couldn't eat anything. So they would literally have to open my mouth, put the food in and have me chew and try to have me swallow. That's how intoxicated I was. They took me back to my parents' house. My dad came out, grabbed me, threw me into my room. I was in trouble. All right. Every kid has a story like that. And this was kind of really just the beginnings of a lot of the crappy stuff that I did. The next, like I said, that was the lubricant. That was the easy story. Let's get into some of the harder ones. Like I said, I used alcohol a lot to feel seen. The next one, I was at a house party. Parents obviously weren't home. I got obliterated, blackout drunk, and I stole the parents' car. And this was a very wealthy family. I got into their Audi, and there was kids in the back, and all roads seemed to lead to McDonald's, but the kids in the back, these kids were a little bit younger. The party had multiple different ages there from high school. I was a senior. I believe they were juniors. They were in the back, and they said, let's go to McDonald's. And I shit you not, somehow we opened the garage door. Somehow I drove this car on the highway. Somehow I made it to McDonald's. The only thing I remember from this instance is getting in the car and getting out of the car. I don't remember driving. I don't remember pulling up. I don't even remember talking to the McDonald's clerk in the drive-through. I don't remember anything from it. and I feel so freaking awful, but I literally stole the car. I got in the car, drove it to McDonald's, and came back and risked my life, and more importantly, risked the lives of the individuals who were in the car. I had no business driving that car. I didn't have any business even walking. I literally, by the grace of God, I literally don't even know how I didn't get in an accident, how I didn't crash, how I didn't kill myself and everybody in that car. Um, so yeah, I did that. The next story, I was held at gunpoint by cops, and this was in high school. Uh, I was dating Caitlin at the time, and Caitlin had a brother who was a freshman at the time. His name is Keith. And my friend Andrew and it was senior hazing day. So I was a senior, and Caitlin's brother Keith was a freshman. So we went to Caitlin's house. We woke Keith up early. We threw him out of bed, splashed water on him, all the normal senior hazing things. We noticed that he had an airsoft gun in his room. So took his airsoft gun. We said, "All right, Keith, get to school." We'd shoot him with the airsoft bullet. He got in our car. We made him drink, so we gave him some nips, and he took shots. We had the airsoft gun in my car. All right, so the school day goes by. My friend Andrew and I got to drive him home. My friend Andrew and I go back to my car. We notice the airsoft gun in the car, and we realize, oh yeah, we still have this. My friend Andrew proceeds to go out the window of my Dodge Durango with the gun and starts shooting at cars in the parking lot, mostly our friends, and being playful, but obviously guns in school parking lot is big no. And thankfully, all the school shootings that have happened since that time, there at the time that I was in high school, it wasn't as proactive as an event. The school shootings didn't really happen at that point. And honestly, 6 months after that, or a few months after this incident, is when Sandy Hook happened. And if Sandy Hook happened prior, I probably would not even be alive. I'd probably be shot. So my friend Andrew was hanging out in my car with the airsoft gun, shooting at other cars in the parking lot, mostly my friends. I pull out of the high school parking lot. My friend Andrew is now shooting at stop lines or stop sites, or sorry, you can tell I'm getting nervous. Stop lights and stop signs. And I had two cars pull up behind me, and they're cop cars, and their lights were on, and cops get out of the car. They had their guns drawn, and I thought they said get out of the car. They really said put your hands out of the car, but I thought they said get out of the car. So I proceeded to open the door and get out of the car, and they screamed, "Get back in the vehicle!" Now in hindsight 2020, like I said, a few months after this is when the Sandy Hook event happened. If the Sandy Hook event happened prior to this, in that moment, I probably would have been shot and probably would have been killed. So yeah, they come up to the car, and I have my hands on the steering wheel. Actually, no, sorry, I had my hands out of the car. They come up to the car with the gun. They search our vehicle. They confiscate the airsoft gun. They ask both of us to get out of the car. My friend, being a jackass, was very rude to the cops. The cops took him to the ground, and he got arrested. I was polite to the cops, and once again, by the grace of God, I did not get arrested, and they told me that I can go home, and they confiscated the airsoft gun. So that's my gunpoint story, and I'm very not proud of it, and not proud of it at all. All right, the next one, in middle school, once again, I was very impressionable. I always did things to impress people. I had a friend, his name was Matt, and he had an older brother. And Matt told me that it was cool to harass women, to harass girls. So in middle school, I started harassing girls. And it got so bad to the point where I had a parent say that they were going to take legal charges if I didn't stop. And at that point, I did officially stop. But and another thing on the long list of things that I really did to fuck up my younger years. And just to summarize some of these stories, once again I failed almost all of my classes. I was asked to repeat the 8th grade because my grades were piss poor. And for the lack of a better term, I was a fuck up. I really was a fuck up. My life was going down a very dark path. Once again, I was labeled as the kid to be most likely to go to jail, to be in trouble, to make nothing of my life. Many teachers have told me, my 8th grade teacher, right in the middle of the class, told me that I wouldn't even graduate high school. Told me that I've been told that I've been stupid to my face from teachers. And yeah, I mean, I identified with all of that. And I just said, all right, cool, that's who I am. And I will continue to make these mistakes. Senior year, I was a mess. Senior year of high school, I was a mess. I was riddled with anxiety. And the question that I asked myself literally every single day in senior year is, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? Was the only question that would run through my head obsessively. Like when I say obsessively, like I couldn't get this question out of my head. It ruined every single day. My existence of life was probably at the lowest point in the senior year of high school. I just thought so low of myself. And it was pretty terrible. Yeah, every single day I woke up with just crippling anxiety, self-doubt, just wondering what the fuck am I even doing. I took myself to many different therapists to try to get a self-diagnosis, because when you ask yourself what's wrong with you, you're forced to find answers. So I started self-labeling myself with all these different mental diseases: bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, you name it. Whatever disorder I could find that even an inkling of a symptom I may have felt, I would say, yep, that's what I got. Because I was searching for answers. I was searching for answers to justify all the shitty, how shitty my life was up until that point, and all the shitty things that I did. All of the therapists told me that there was nothing wrong with me. All the therapists told me that I just have anxiety. And my breaking point really came when Caitlin introduced me to online fitness coaching. I don't know if you guys know the story, but how I got introduced to online fitness coaching is Caitlin and I hung out one night, and we were just getting back together. There was a period of time in high school and some of college where we worked together. She had another boyfriend and I was single, but we started getting back together. We started hanging out, and right when we started getting back together, maybe the first couple of hangouts, she introduced me to Christian Guzman on YouTube. So one of our dates, if you will, was to watch Christian Guzman videos. In the beginning, I was like, this is stupid. Like, yes, I was into fitness. I even did some in-person training at the time, but I was like, this is stupid. Like, well, what is this online fitness coaching? And I walked Caitlin out, and she, drove home after we were done hanging out. And when I came back inside, Christian Guzman was still on the TV, and the rest is history. I stayed up till like 2 a.m. that night. I watched all the Christian Guzman videos, and I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do with my life. And it was really in that moment that I feel like I had my breaking point. My breaking point really came when I started business, because business was the first thing that I fell in love with that wasn't Caitlin. And it was the first thing that made me feel like I was doing good. It made me feel like, ooh, I almost got emotional there. It's the first thing that gave me true passion. It's the first thing that's given me real confidence. It's the first thing that's given me real direction. And it's the first thing that's made me feel like I'm me. Like this is, man, I'm going to start getting personal, or I'm going to start getting emotional here. But yeah, it made me feel whole is the best way to say it. And here's my learning lesson from the whole video. I know I've shared a lot with you guys about my personal life, but I didn't want to make this video just about that. I wanted to make this video to have some substance to it. All right. So in hindsight, doing all those things, I obviously did them to feel seen. But a layer deeper, when I really think about it, a layer deeper is the reason I did those things, the reason that I resorted to lashing out, the reason that I resorted to, for the lack of a better term, being a fuck up, being an awful kid, the reason I resorted to choosing negative ways of seeking attention and validation is I didn't think I was capable of being great. I didn't think I was capable of doing good things to actually be seen, like getting good grades, like I did participate in sports, but like really participate in sports, like doing extra things extracurricular activities outside of school. I didn't think I was capable of being successful in those areas. So what I resorted to was, all right, well, if I'm not going to be seen for, my accolades and awards and doing things like that, then fuck it. I'm just gonna resort to doing negative things. And I think that that's the reason why I did that stuff, is I didn't feel like I could be great doing great things. That the only way for me to get attention, the only way for me to create who I am, was by doing these destructive things. And my message to you guys, my message to anybody else that listens to this video, is we are all capable of doing great things. We are all capable of doing great things. Maybe you weren't as destructive as me, right? Maybe your childhood wasn't like mine, where you resorted to being destructive in that manner, right? But maybe there are aspects of your life where you are showing in a negative way because you don't feel like you're capable of being great. Maybe it's in your relationship, right? Maybe you self-sabotage by creating drama in your relationship because you don't think you're capable of having a great relationship. Maybe in your professional career, you self-sabotage your professional career because you don't feel like you're capable of having the career that you want, right? Maybe in your personal health and fitness, same thing. You self-sabotage because you don't truly believe that you're capable of having the level of health and the level of confidence in self, the confidence in your body that you deserve. So you just self-sabotage. And my message is, I want you guys to learn from all my fuck ups. I want you guys to learn from all of my mistakes. All right. We are all capable of doing great things, but we really just need to have that breakthrough. We really just need to have that moment where we realize, hey, I'm being self-destructive. I'm being a fucking asshole. All right. And I'm doing that because I'm afraid of challenging myself to do great things. And that's what I was. I was afraid of really trying hard. I was afraid of maximizing my true potential. I was afraid of pushing my limits in these positive areas of my life. So I resorted to the negative. And I don't want you guys to do that. So please have a deep, long thought. Are there certain areas in your life where you are self-sabotaging on purpose because you don't believe that you could truly be great in that area of your life? And if there is, hopefully this video, hopefully this podcast can help you realize that we all are capable of greatness. We're all capable of starting the Next Level Coaching Academy, or whatever it is for you, right? Having great health, having a great relationship, having a career that you are extremely passionate about. But it all starts with recognizing, these are my shitty patterns. This is what I do and why I do it. And I need to get this turned around because I am capable of being great. I am capable of maximizing my potential in this area of my life. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed some of my more personal stories. I know it's not easy for me to share, but hopefully you found some value from this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.